I stepped off the plane at Fort Benning, boots still gritty with desert dust, duffel bag heavy on my shoulder after 10 months in the sandbox, thinking only about firing up the grill, cracking a cold one, and watching the sun dip behind the pines from the deck I'd hammered together myself. But pulling into Willow Creek Estates, my gut twisted like I'd swallowed barbed wire. My backyard was gone, swallowed up by some half-baked community plot with flimsy chain link and those perky little signs screaming "Neighborhood Oasis," courtesy of the HOA. I sat there in my truck, staring at the churned dirt, like it had slapped me across the face. And that's when she sauntered up. Karen Whitaker, the HOA queen bee, late 50s with that helmet of frosted highlights and a voice sharp enough to etch glass, waving like we were old pals. "Oh, Jack, you're home early," she cooed, leaning on my window like she owned the damn street, which, turns out, she kind of thought she did. I rolled it down, kept my voice steady even though my blood was boiling. "Karen, what the hell happened to my land? That's 40 feet of my property turned into your pet project." She tilted her head, all innocent-like, with that fake sympathy smile. "Well, technically, Jack, that strip was always in limbo. Old survey glitch, you know? The board voted to reclaim it for the greater good, since you weren't around to tend it. Community spirit and all." I gripped the wheel tighter. "I've got a deed that says otherwise, and you know it." She waved it off like swatting a fly. "We'll sort the paperwork later. Funds are spent, seeds are planted. Use it or lose it, right? Maybe next time don't vanish for so long." And just like that, she spun on her heel, pink sweater flapping, leaving me fuming in the driveway, her parting shot hanging in the air like exhaust. Man, I wasn't just mad. It hit deeper, like a betrayal from the place that was supposed to be my safe haven after dodging IEDs overseas. I'd built that deck thinking of quiet evenings, maybe starting a family one day. But Karen? She'd been gunning for control ever since her husband skipped town 5 years back, leaving her with a grudge against anyone who didn't kiss the HOA ring, especially folks like me, military types who traveled, easy marks for her power plays. I drove straight to the county clerk's office, still in fatigues, and it took all of 20 minutes to pull my original plat. Yep, boundary right where I'd left it. But the clerk leaned in, whispering like we were in a spy flick. "Huh, looks like the HOA filed a correction while you were gone. Claimed a survey error, board approved. No signature from me, though." "They can't do that without consent," I growled. She shrugged. "Not legally, no." I walked out with copies of their sham filing, Karen's forgery of my name looking like a kid's doodle. And get this, they'd transferred the land to the HOA for $1. One lousy dollar while I was out serving. It wasn't about the money. It was the gall, the entitlement. Like my absence gave her carte blanche to redraw the map. I didn't explode. Not yet. Instead, I went home, wired up cameras front and back, rifled through my old closing docs, and called my buddy Mike Reynolds, a sharp lawyer from my ROTC days, who owed me for pulling his ass out of a bar fight once. "Jack, this is textbook fraud," he said over the phone, already revving up. "Forgery, unauthorized seizure. We're talking civil suit, maybe criminal if it stinks bad enough." We built the case quietly, emails, timelines, even photos of their progress on my dirt. But I held fire, watching Karen parade around like the empress of the cul-de-sac, board meetings where she'd approve more enhancements, strutting past my house with that smug nod. She thrived on folks backing down, intimidated by her endless rules and fines. But me? I'd learned patience in the field. Wait for the right shot. Then came the preliminary hearing, and oh boy, it felt like unloading a clip. Mike filed to freeze their assets, slap an injunction on the garden. Judge was Harlan Brooks, retired Army vet with a stare that could melt steel. We walked in, me and civvies this time, and there was Karen at the table, no lawyer, just her and her lapdog Greg Simmons in his tucked-in polo, looking like he'd rather be golfing. "Your Honor," Mike laid it out smooth, "we've got a forged survey, a fake affidavit signed by my client, while he was deployed, and a notary stamp from Karen's own sister-in-law out of state, unlicensed here." Karen piped up, not even standing. "This is ridiculous, Judge. Jack's always been prickly about his space. We were beautifying the area, boosting values." Brooks raised an eyebrow, voice like gravel. "Beautifying isn't fraud, Miss Whitaker. And if you're not counsel, Mr. Simmons, zip it." Mike dropped the bomb, motioned to audit their books, approved on the spot. Karen's eyes bugged out. She hissed at me across the aisle. "You sneaky bastard planning this ambush." I leaned back, calm as hell. Careful, Karen. You're in court now. Outside, Mike grinned like a shark. Neighbors are talking. Turns out you're not her first victim. She's been nibbling at edges from snowbirds, retirees, anyone not watching. And those projects? Funneled to a dummy corp run by her brother in Idaho, straight up embezzlement. It made sense now. Her grudge wasn't just personal. It was profitable, padding her pockets with dues while playing neighborhood tyrant. That night, staring at the empty plot, tools abandoned, weeds creeping in, I spotted fresh gravel dumped post-injunction, a blatant middle finger. Snapped a pic, time-stamped. Mike filed contempt next morning. County inspector showed up by lunch, clipboard in hand, muttering, "This is ballsy. Could be criminal." And it snowballed from there. State probe unearthed 4 more shady transfers, all with her fingerprints, bogus surveys, ghost signatures. Then Susan Patel cracked, the quiet treasurer with a steel trap memory and a binder full of receipts. She'd been in Karen's pocket at first, but the threats got too real. Keep the books clean, Susan, or your hubby's plumbing license might hit a snag. Susan's man had been stalled on renewals thrice that year. Coincidence? Nah. She spilled. Emails ordering rushed grabs without notice, even bribes from the slush fund. We slapped receivership on the HOA. Boom. Karen and crew ousted overnight. At the emergency town hall, the room buzzed like a hive. Folks I'd nodded to for years now packed in, whispering. The interim admin took the mic. Mr. Thompson's land is restored forthwith. Fraud proven. All prior projects halted for review. Karen bolted up, red-faced. "You can't erase my legacy like this." Old-timer Ed from down the block shouted back, "Legacy? More like felony rap sheet, Karen." Laughter erupted. She stormed out, heels echoing like gunfire. But it didn't end there. The feds got wind when we traced interstate wires, fake IDs on her shells. I even dug up, literally, a buried stash in my yard. Karen's handwritten ledger, confessions galore, noting me as deployed low resistance, prime for expansion. Greg flipped for immunity, handed over her secret emails, selling resident data, garage codes, the works, to shady marketers. Charges piled up, wire fraud, identity theft, laundering. They raided her place at dawn. She opened the door in rollers, sputtering, "This is harassment," as they carted off her safe stuffed with burners and bogus cards. Susan testified about the coercion, how Karen's empire was built on fear, elderly fined into silence, families threatened with lions. The whole board crumbled. HOA dissolved for good, replaced by a loose co-op. No teeth, just potlucks and polls. Trial hit like a storm, indictment unsealed, racketeering tacked on after tracing $400K siphoned offshore. I took the stand for impact. I came home expecting peace, found theft instead. Not just dirt, but trust shredded. Karen turned our block into her fiefdom, preying on the absent, the weak. Judge Brooks didn't blink. 25 years, no parole. She slumped, finally broken as they cuffed her. Flight risk, with that hidden passport to Belize. Neighborhood bloomed after, yards reclaimed, fines refunded, folks waving like old friends. I joined a county panel to curb rogue HOAs, rewriting rules for transparency. No more unchecked kings or queens. But here's the thing that nags me still. Was Karen a monster or just a product of these bloated systems letting petty tyrants run wild? We won, sure, but at what cost to the community fabric? What do you think? Ever dealt with an HOA nightmare? Or seen justice twist like this? Drop a comment below. Share your take on right, wrong, or the gray in between. Hit like if it hit home and subscribe for more real talk stories. Let's chat.